Okay, so this is going to be a quick review of the initial inspection. This is a BYO guitar. This is their EVH kit. I've gone through the kit, inspected all the parts to see how they look, to see if they match my expectations, and so I'm going to quickly go over what I found and take it from there. So first things first. I went through and inventoried all the parts. Everything is there. The only thing that was missing were, I think there's 8 screws or something that hold these covers on. I didn't get those screws. That's the only thing that was missing from the kit. Not a big deal. I can get those at a hardware store, so I'm not too concerned about that. But other than that, it's complete. Everything's here, and so far, I gotta say everything looks pretty good. And I'll go through this part by part. So the first thing we'll go through is obviously going to be the body and the neck. Those are the two really important things. Everything else can be replaced, but these are sort of going to be sticking with me forever. So the actual guitar body is actually quite a bit better than I would have expected. I've watched a lot of YouTube videos of other people and kits that they've bought from various suppliers, and they've had varying degrees of quality. This, I gotta tell you, I am pretty impressed with not only the quality of the wood, but even the quality of the finish. I mean, it's like perfectly smoothly sanded. The binding, everything is just absolutely flush. This is going to need almost nothing as far as sanding goes, because it's just that high of a quality of a job. And that goes for the outside even. It's just absolutely flush. And I went around and looked to see if I could find any glue, because apparently some kits there's areas where the glue seeped out, got on the wood, and you have to sand it off. I honestly can't find any. There may be a spot there, but I'm not really sure that that's glue. That could be just some of the wood grain or something. I'm not really sure. It's definitely not anything I'm too concerned about. Other than that, the top is absolutely beautiful. The grain of the wood, this is a beautiful quilted maple pattern. Just if I don't mess up the finish, this should come out looking really, really good. And just for full disclosure, this is the very first guitar kit that I will be building. I've never built one before. I certainly have very little experience doing finishing work, staining and varnishing and all that stuff, so this is going to be a learn as you go type of experience for me. But I'm really looking forward to it. I will tell you that when I bought the kit, I was sort of expecting it to be a little bit lower quality and figured, well, I'll just buy it, slap some stain on, and get a nice playable guitar. When I opened it up and looked at it, I thought, wow, this really could be a fabulous instrument if I put some effort into it. So I was going to just quickly go through it and assemble it, stain it, and just slap a coat of finish on it. But now I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, I really want this to come out looking good, looking up to its full potential, because there's a lot of potential here. This is beautiful wood. Anyway, I'll stop rambling about that. The only flaws I find, I literally can't find any flaws in the front that are even remotely worth mentioning. It's pretty darn near flawless. As far as the back goes, the only flaws I can find, which are pretty much insignificant and could easily be remedied, it's a teeny little ding right there. I think it might be showing up on the camera okay. Hardly worth mentioning. Other than that, it's pretty good. Again, the finishing work that they've already done on this is just way beyond what I would have expected. It's almost ready to go out of the box. A little bit of sanding on the back here, and I think we're going to be ready to go as far as finishing goes. But the sides, the top, absolutely beautifully sanded. Just smooth, flush. Couldn't ask for better. One thing I will say about this veneer, I realize veneers are thin. I will say I didn't realize how thin they are. I don't think that'll show up on the camera, but it's paper thin. So one thing I am going to try to avoid when I'm doing the finishing is I'm going to try to avoid sanding as much as I possibly can, because that is a very, very thin veneer, and it would not take much effort at all to sand through that and really mess it up. So my goal is to use very little sanding, and to use the finest grit sandpapers I can possibly get away with, because I don't want to mess this top up. So as far as the holes and everything being ready for assembly, all the holes are drilled for the knobs. The holes are drilled for the neck. This is the hole for the switch, and then you have obviously your cutout slot for your trem bar. The only thing that was missing, which I already remedied, it was really simple, is for the ground wire. There was no hole between the pot cavity here and the trem cavity, because the ground wire gets attached to the claw bar, but there was no hole there. That was a really easy fix. I just took my drill and just drilled a hole down at an angle into this pocket. So that was a super duper easy fix. Again, I guess it's worth mentioning because it is something you'll have to do. It's one hole that's not drilled, but again, it's super simple if you have even the most basic drilling equipment. So that's the body. Again, I'm very happy. You can see that's just a beautiful pattern, and I really don't want to mess it up. So that's the body. On the neck, again, the finish on this neck is pretty sweet. This is exactly how it comes out of the box. I haven't done anything to any of this stuff yet, other than drill that one hole. But this is how it is out of the box. I will tell you, this fretwork is, again, way beyond what I would have expected quality-wise. This is as good. I mean, I have an Ibanez downstairs, which are known to have really good quality nicks, but this is equal to that in every respect. This fretwork is top-notch. I mean, I don't have to do a thing to it. Now, I will tell you, I have not checked the leveling. I haven't done any fret rocking or anything to see if there's any high ones or not. It looks good, but I haven't got to that point yet where I'm looking at it. But the neck is just laser straight. Can't find a single flaw at all on the neck. It's just a beautiful piece of craftsmanship. Not entirely enthused about the nut. I mean, kits, as you know, probably most of the parts are probably not the best. The nut looks, mediocre-ish. Probably something that I may want to swap out. At this point in time, though, I intend to use all the hardware that was sent with the kit. I'm not going to order anything custom at this point. I may go back and change things out at some point, but right now I'm going to do it with all the equipment that was provided. So the neck, again, is virtually flawless. The fretwork is utterly superb, literally equal to anything I felt anyway. It's beautiful. Very, very, very smooth. Again, this is going to take almost no effort as far as sanding to get ready to go. It's just out of the box, pretty much ready to be put on the guitar and finished. And as far as the fit goes, I've test fitted it. I'll show you. It's a very nice tight fit. No slop at all. Good amount of pressure to get it down in there. And there you have it. I mean, it's pretty good. So you can see I can actually hold it up without any sort of a screw attaching it. So it's a beautiful fit. No complaints there at all. One thing, I will have to drill the holes. Obviously, they're not pre-drilled, so I will have to drill those. That's not going to be a problem. So on to other things. Now, as far as the hardware goes, again, this is my first kit, so I have nothing to really compare it to, but I can tell you that out of the box, I'd say most of the hardware is actually pretty good. It's very, very complete. There's everything you would possibly need is in this kit to make a fully finished guitar, and they even go so far as to include the pick along with the strings, which is way kind of beyond what I would have imagined. But anyway, this is the wiring harness. This is the volume and the tone control, pre-wired. Now I did go through and look at the diagram. This is the first time I've ever done a wiring setup on a guitar, but I do believe they actually had this miswired. This long wire is the one that goes up to the switch, and I'm pretty sure, based on what I'm seeing in their instructions, and also what I'm seeing on the websites, is how to wire this type of a guitar. This wire, as far as I can tell, should be on this post, and this wire here, the shorter wire, which was designed to go to the plug, should be on this post. So I'm going to have to probably resolder these two wires. I'm not worried about that at all. I'm pretty good at soldering. I've done quite a bit of it over the years, so that should be a pretty trivial task for me. But if you don't like to solder, that's the one thing I'm finding that I may have to modify, because I do believe this is incorrect. Anyway, as far as the quality goes, they look okay. I'm going to use them and see how well they work. As long as they do the job, I'm fine. I don't have to have the highest quality stuff. If they're not noisy when I turn them, they don't make staticky noises, and as long as they do the job, I'm quite happy to use them until they wear out. So that doesn't matter to me at all. So that's the wiring harness, pre-wired. The links all seem very good. I've run it up through the body to make sure that the links are good. Everything seems to be pretty much spot on as far as that goes. So I think we're in good shape there. This is the jack. Again, it's actually a fairly decent bit of hardware. I mean, the cord goes right in. It snaps into place real nice. Can't find anything particularly wrong with it. Nothing of any concern, so not bad. And then the switch, I did take it came with the guitar cable as well, which is, I mean, I've got lots of these, so I don't really need it, but it's nice that they include it. The switch, I actually did find an issue with the switch, and I fixed it already. But you'll definitely want to check this hardware out before you just install it. You don't want to just install it and hope for the best. It's really a good idea to take a good close look at it. But what I did find is that the switch on this side was not working properly. That contact is supposed to separate from the inner contact when you flip that switch up, and it was not doing that. The fix was really easy. Actually, it was this side here. I can tell because it's a little closer. The fix was really easy. I just had to, take a little flathead screwdriver in there and bend that inner post back. However, if I hadn't caught that ahead of time, I would have installed the switch, and I would have discovered that one of my pickups wasn't working properly, or I couldn't get it to work properly because the switch was broken. So it's definitely saving me a lot of headache going through and checking this stuff out before I install it, because I don't want to get the guitar together and have to troubleshoot problems. This would have been a weird one for me. Again, I'm pretty inexperienced with this stuff, so I wouldn't have known what was going on. But now the switch works perfectly, so I'm going to use it, no problem. And then on to the rest of the hardware. These are the back covers, so they fit into the slots on the body pretty much perfectly. They did come with a plastic covering, which I've already peeled off, just so I can check again the quality of the materials. They're fine. But hold on, my phone's ringing. Let me just pause this real quick. Anyway, this plate fits in the pocket very nicely. Beautiful fit, no complaints. Same with this one, fits in the pocket. If you get it the right direction, drops right in, beautiful. Again, the only thing missing from the kit were the screws that hold these plates in place. I didn't get those, but I can pick those up at any hardware store. That's just a kind of a no-brainer, non-issue, really. And this is the back plate. The only thing I'm slightly disappointed in is this is not routed, so this actually sits on top. I'm not particularly thrilled with that aspect of it, but I actually may just leave this off. You know, a lot of people, I've seen a lot of people on YouTube who don't even bother putting that plate on. So my guess is I won't even attach it. I'll probably just not drill the holes. I'll just leave it off and then see how that goes. And if worse comes to worse, I'll put it on. But hopefully I won't have to. I will say one thing. I've watched some other videos of at least one other person who's put together this EVH kit from BYO Guitars, and I can tell you that the kit has changed because the one they got differs from this kit in several ways, and I'll go over those real quick. This actually is more true to the EVH kits that I've, or not kits, but the actual EVH guitars that I've seen for sale, where they have a volume, a tone, and then the switch is up here. The older kit that I saw on YouTube videos from BYO Guitars, the EVH, actually had the switch here, and then I think they just had a volume and no tone. So that has changed, just so you're aware of that. That actually is not the way this kit is anymore. This is more true to what the true EVH guitar looks like these days anyway. So just to be aware of that. The other thing that's different, and this is maybe probably the one negative, is this does not have the cutout, the shaping for the body cavity. So it's essentially almost like a Les Paul. It's a flat surface, pretty much top and bottom, with rounded edges down here. I actually thought I would be a little bit more bothered by that. I actually don't think I'm going to mind. I mean, I had thought about actually marking it and carving out that cutout myself, but I think I'm gonna just leave it as is and go with it. I mean, essentially what it is now, it's almost like a Les Paul. It's very similar actually, except for the design here. Obviously, is not a Les Paul. They don't have the little horn there. But I tell you, if you carve that off, you basically have a Les Paul here. So I'm going to leave it like it is. Of course, it's a Les Paul with a these gizmos, which Les Pauls don't have. But yeah. Anyway, that's a diversion. So anyway, so far very good. No complaints. The pickups, again, they're nice. Got the cream and the black. I kind of like that. They actually have the screws that attach these. They're just basically stuck on with the magnet there. That's how they came, just like that. So there's two of those. They look okay. There's the front and the back. So they did send me the proper mounts, which is good. And then on to the tuners. The tuners feel good. No slop or play. So I'm going to go with it. See how they come out. Hopefully they'll work well. Don't expect any real issues. So that's that. There's 6 of them. The 6 screws to attach them. Also, it came with obviously the Floyd Rose. This is not an original Floyd Rose. This is a licensed Floyd Rose. Again, I've never used a Floyd Rose, so this is sort of a new piece of equipment for me. But just looking it over, I don't see any flaws. The finish is actually pretty good. It looks like it's going to work just fine. I've attached the Tremolo Bar, which is a really tight fit actually. I'm not sure if that's the way it's supposed to be, but you can loosen it up a little bit, but it definitely is a tighter fit. Now my guess is that's going to loosen up over time, but that's the way it is out of the box. It's pretty tight, so not sure if that's good or bad at this point. But other than that, it seems quite good. No complaints. It also came with obviously the claws and the springs, and then the screws to attach the claw. And this is the two brackets, the 2 posts that the Floyd Rose butts up against. Again, I don't see anything wrong with any of this stuff. It all looks like decent quality stuff. The knobs are, I expected kind of cheap knobs. These are actually fairly hefty, hefty metal. They're actually pretty good. So I'm gonna keep those. I don't see any reason to upgrade at all. This is the mounting screws for the neck, and This is the bar for the strings that goes up here, which holds the strings down so that there's some tension on them, so that they don't, well, what am I trying to say here? Right, it just applies some tension to the strings. So that goes there. Again, don't see anything wrong with it. And it even came with a set of strings and in a package. So a lot of the kits I've seen online, people are pulling a rat's nest of strings out of the box. These are actually in a package, so can't complain. It even came with 3 hex tools for those who don't already have them. These are the 3 sizes that you would need for this guitar, so that's a bonus feature right there. So that's pretty much it in a nutshell. And again, the initial quality, the initial inspection, it's considerably better than I would have expected out of the box. This was $189 right now. Just for reference purposes, this is actually January of 2018, and the price at this point is, I think, $189 plus shipping. So it's very reasonable, especially considering just the quality of the kit and the quality of the state it comes in is just really good. Definitely worth the price. So that's pretty much a wrap at this point. So what my intentions are is to essentially assemble this. I'm probably going to assemble it completely unfinished, including soldering all the parts just to make sure everything's working properly. And then once I get that done, I'll probably desolder it, the wiring, take all the hardware off, and then finish it properly. But my intentions at this point, anyway, are to fully assemble it, make sure everything's good, and then to disassemble it and then finish it. So there you have it. That's a wrap. I got my tools ready. You can see over here. I already started to assemble my tools, so I'm ready to go. And I will update you when I make some progress and let you know how it's going. So wish me luck.